Oh, there
Okay.
we go.
All right,
Okay.
we're back in the Julian Gallardi show. Soft intro there. Now we'll get to the meat and potatoes here. So, Jared, first of all, it was fun meeting at the Pinstripe Pride event and the Hall of Fame signings this weekend. Definitely got to see a lot of stuff in real life. Definitely had some interesting times out there, and it was an action-packed weekend. But a lot of stuff in between that was going on behind the scenes as well. Like I will say that there's some interviews I'll have coming out this week, but that's not really what the surprise announcement is. We'll build up to that. We'll get there. But before we do that, like the Mariners did a trade for Brendan Donovan, which is at the forefront. We thought we were going to start the show with Suarez going back to the Reds, which we're going to take a deep dive into both of these things, obviously. Yankees are searching for righty bats. The Mets kind of look stuck in the mud right now based on what they've done. I'm not really sure what else is really there for them. Maybe we'll have a brief discussion on that. The White Sox get Austin Hayes, who we talked about a lot on this show, as a target for both New York teams. It didn't go that way. They're having a surprisingly good offseason. We have Luis Arraez finally signing with a team for an interesting deal that we're gonna dissect and see if we think it's fair value. Is it not? Like that's the question. And then one of the things that's pressing is WBC, but I'm not going to go crazy in that because there's more. I have another platform to do that on, but there is a lot of Yankee ties with WBC. So, what do you think stands out to you with that extensive rundown I gave you?
Um, well, Brendan Donovan, first of all, he will fit really well into that Mariners lineup. That Mariners lineup is full of very good hitters, and very good hitters drive in a lot of runs. You got a guy like Josh Naylor, who's an RBI machine. Obviously, Cal Raleigh, who was a home run machine last year. You got Randy Arozarena, who's looking to make a bounce back from last year. He didn't perform as well as he hoped. You know, what I see in this lineup, I see a lot of offense. And when we're talking about the Mariners, they're always going to have pretty good pitching. So I really like the Mariners going into next season. I think they're going to be a top team contending in the AL.
Well, I do agree with you because I just went on a podcast recently with my friend, a Dodgers buddy named Kevin Klein, an Incline podcast, and I was telling him I think I actually ranked the Mariners very aggressively as either the first or second best AL team. I think I may have put them like 4 or 5 in the top teams in the league because like I do believe what they built last year is very sustainable when you look at the pitching they got and the bats. I mean, you lost Polanco and Suarez, yes, and it all is layered here because it was probably a reaction to losing Suarez, kind of, as this had been in the works. But I just think that the Mariners are in a good spot because you have some guys there, like Naylor back in the fold for a full season is huge. Then you have obviously what Cal Raleigh did is going to be tough to replicate. Randy Rosarina has more in the bat. I think there's a better season ahead for him potentially. So some of it'll balance itself out. I think Julio Rodriguez got off to a bad start, but then caught fire late. So does he just maintain the whole season this time? Like that's something you're going to want to look for. Cole Young is a young, exciting prospect that they've been waiting for a little while, and that kind of outlines their top of their attack for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great pickup. I mean, they spent a lot of their farm system on it. They let go of Durangelo,
Yeah, I'm
Ty
gonna.
Pete,
I'm gonna
Colton Ledbetter, and then St. Louis also gets a competitive B draft pick
Yep.
next year.
Here we go. Here's the trade right here.
There's the trade.
So the Cardinals receive 3 prospects, probably led by Cahente. And I did read something interesting yesterday about him that they might just switch. I don't know how this is going to go now because I think the Mariners had planned on switching him to just a right-handed pitcher because he was so much better from the right side. I don't know if that same plan applies for the Cardinals if he willingly was going to do that with wherever he ended up. But like the Compy draft pick might be semi-significant. I don't know exactly where that lands, but the Orioles got a really good pick in their Boz trade. So actually, Tampa flipped that, but and then the Rays get Ben Williamson out of the deal. So I mean, it does kind of help the Mariners out because You could look at Suarez as a guy that was good for them, obviously, but he wasn't great for them in that second half. Although he was good in the playoffs when they needed him to in that one home run sequence. But I think he had two against the Jays in that series. But he was a good. He also loved playing there and stuff. And losing Polanco was kind of big because he was big in October too. Brendan Donovan to me kind of fills the Polanco role a little bit, except he's younger, has more versatility defensively, and probably will age better, obviously, or if they keep him long term or whatever. And he's under control for 2 years, pretty low salary, I think. So that's definitely something that you're gonna want to look into. So let's see. He offers a lot of flexibility at second, third, short, left, and right. He's projected for a 117 WRC plus and a 764 OPS. And then we mentioned the guys in the lineup before. Canzone was a good breakout candidate. I saw him hit 3 bombs in the game. J.P. Crawford is a good glove guy. He'll got a few key hits. Victor Robles, I'm on the fence about, but maybe he could do better than I think. And then Cole Young kind of rounds out that lineup. So I definitely think the Mariners are a very serious threat. And I definitely think that they have a chance to go to the World Series because they were so close last year. Like, if you think about what took place, they honestly could have made it if they had just pitched Nunez instead of the other guy they brought in potentially. And if he got out of that jam, I know it's the seventh inning, but like it was still the biggest spot of the game. Like in that moment, you almost have to pitch backwards. Like get out of the biggest spot and then see what happens after that. It was just a bad mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Mariners could get even better this year because Brendan Donovan will be a very good bat to ball guy. He'll also bring you pretty good defense as well, and I expect a pretty good rise out of this Mariners pitching staff, who kind of had an off year. Kind of, yeah, George Kirby, his ERA was in the four, and that's not really like George Kirby. So I feel like they could get even better than they were last year, just
I
because of that
I
pitching deficit that they
I
had.
do agree with you too. That's another thing I was kind of thinking about when I brought this up. Like that, the Mariners pitching lab was not quite what we normally expect it to be. Like Kirby was a little bit off, but he kind of found it in October a little bit. Except I think the Jays lit him up that one time. But other than that, he was pretty good. And then like Gilbert even didn't seem to be that lights out either, except he was also good in October for the most part. Luis Castillo, I might think is on the wrong side. He might just be going the wrong way at this point due to age and usage. I don't know if there's much redeeming him at this point. Bryce Miller's a wild card to me because, like, what is Bryce Miller? Like, he's shown flashes, then he had an awful year filled with injuries. Last year, he was up and down again. So, like, what Bryce Miller are they getting? That's the question because he's the one that could really move the pendulum to me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. He pitched well in October as well, which I could definitely think could help him going into next year. Ending off on a good foot is always pretty good, and he had a stellar year last year with a 2.94 ERA and 170 Ks. But the upside of the Mariners pitching staff is always going to be very high, and with the bat that that they just added, the I mean, as I said, they could get even better than they were last year.
And like, who do you really think is a concern for them in the West? I don't really think the Astros are what they used to be. The Rangers with Mackenzie Gore, but they still did a lot of house cleaning, like the Simeon trade, and their bullpen's kind of a mess. So I'm not gonna say. I still think the Mariners, I could comfortably say, will probably win the AL West, maybe by like 5+ games. How I'm looking at this right now.
Yeah, probably expect a little regression from Houston, knowing that Framber Valdez is probably not going to sign back there.
Yeah,
Um, I do expect the Athletics to be a little bit better this year, just
I like the
banking on
A's.
the development of all of their prospects. They're going to have a full year of Nick Kurtz,
That's huge.
and they just need some pitching to be competitive. Once they get pitching, they're going to have a really pretty good offense next year.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The A's are in a good spot. The Angels are kind of sputtering still, but they've tried to add marginally in certain areas. They're hoping for some buy lows that'll come through for them. That's always a risky proposition, but
Hmm.
you never know what can happen with that. So, I mean, I think they're in a good spot. So let's go through this Suarez thing now a little bit. Like, I'm surprised at the deal, the 1 for 15, because like I could have seen a 2 for 30. There's a mutual option that kind of makes it 2 for 30, but like I don't know. I mean, I know we had a down second half. Do you think it's the analytical projections that kind of hurt Suarez? And we're gonna dive in deeper soon. But like, I was surprised it was that low, kind of, and especially like, why wouldn't the Red Sox dive in at that point when they're looking for an infield bat and a right-handed hitter? Like the Pirates. That was a huge miss from the Pirates for me. Like the Pirates desperately need a guy like Suarez, a righty power bat, and they don't even offer. I don't think. Well, I don't know exactly, but why couldn't they have done that deal? I think you could have seen a couple teams do with that, and then I'll ask you about a debate at the end of this that I shared with you before the show.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I really did when I saw the news broke that Suarez was going to be a Red, and when I read the money amount, I kind of compared it to what his trade market was during the deadline last year and how high it was, and how the Diamondbacks were asking the Yankees for Cam Schlittler and Carlos LaGrange. How did, that doesn't add up. You're getting dealt for maybe a Cam Schlittler or Carlos LaGrange, and then you're gonna walk and get $15 million for only 1 year in free agency. That's a big difference.
Yeah, no, that really is.
But you know, I do expect a little bit regression from him, but I do think he's gonna be a very good piece into that Reds lineup, and
Yeah,
he could bounce around maybe from third base and DH since they have Noel B. Marte, who's trying to get some old work in the outfield last season, but he could play third base as well.
yeah, no, I agree with you on Suarez. I think what happened was that he had a big boom with the D backs. Like, he was one of
Hmm.
the best hitters in the league with the D backs.
Yeah,
And then the Mariners, that drop off was crazy. So what happens? Like, the Safeco's not the easiest park for hitters except for Cal Raleigh, I guess. But um, other than Cal, I mean, what's like what's like who no one's had like that crazy of success there of late. I mean, even Julio
hmm,
went through the ups and downs, and Randy's been struggling, and a couple other guys. But like, it's definitely an interesting thing because he also hit really well in the Diamondbacks park. So was it just a park
hmm.
factor that was helping him? I don't know. Or seems nervous about the age because I think he's 34 now. The defense isn't great, although he's working at it. And I do have some insights that I can share when I interviewed him as well. So the debate I'm going to get to before I do that is like, if the Yankees had an option right now, if you were starting from scratch and you can have like a 2 year deal around 30 million, would you rather have Suarez or McMahon? Because that's kind of how this ended up in a crazy sense. And the Yankees had the chance to trade for Suarez, but I don't think it would have cost Schleller because it's not. They probably asked for that, yeah, but like it's not. The Mariners package was not anything close to that. I don't think. But like I don't know. I mean, if you had to start from scratch, which guy would you rather have?
Honestly, just for the offensive standpoint, I would probably pick Geno, but both options are pretty good there. They're kind of like polar opposites in a way. Like you got one who's a power offensive bat, but doesn't lacks a lot defensively, and then you have Ryan McMahon, who lacks a lot offensively, but premieres at third base as a defensive third baseman.
Yeah, and the other thing that would bother me about this debate, and not that you did this, so Suarez had a 3.8 F4 next year. We have more stuff on him too. I just wanted to see this differently, just to see like what the difference was in essence. Not to say that he'll replicate this, but because we don't know. In that ballpark, he might. And McMahon had
Mm.
1.9. So if you go based off that, that doesn't look too good. Even if that's factoring in everything as well. And the one thing that bothered me is that people are like, "Oh, Suarez strikes out too much." McMahon strikes out more than almost anybody else. So like, that's
Yeah.
not a debate for me. Like, if
Hmm.
you can't say Suarez K's too much and then trade for Ryan McMahon, like that
Yeah.
does not add up to me.
I mean, I totally agree with you. That's definitely one of Ryan McMahon's biggest weaknesses is his
Exactly. So
swing.
you can't say that's a
Yeah.
reason why you didn't deal for Suarez. Like,
I mean, yeah, he strikes out more than probably a lot of people in the league. He's probably in the top 10, I'd say, for K rate, and that's gonna regress you as a hitter. I mean, he slaps the ball hard, but he doesn't make a lot of contact when he does. When
yeah, I mean, that's the main problem, honestly. And then You look at Geno. He had 134 hits, 118 RBI, fourth in the majors, 49 bombs, obviously fifth, 125 WRC plus, 29.8 K rate, 196
Mhm.
Ks, fourth most. McMahon, I think, had over 200 if I'm correct. So they both are rough, and but you don't want, yeah. But we're not asking for both of them together. We're asking for one of them.
Mhm.
But Geno's expected BA was fourth percentile, which is not great, obviously.
Yeah.
So there is some regression potentially. 42% with xWOBA, 73rd percentile for xSlug with 463. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Expected OPS is 793, decent. Barrel 14.3, 89, that's good. Whiff 33.3, 4 percentile, that's awful. And then the K rate, yeah, I mean, but McMahon is even worse than those, honestly,
Yeah.
probably, if you were to look at it.
Yeah.
So, like you
Probably.
said, he fits very well into the Reds lineup. He hit a
Mhm.
bunch of bombs for him before. There's a 50 home run season on his ledger with them.
Yeah.
Ali De La Cruz will be happy to have him in the mix. His stats with Reds last year were pretty good: 851 OPS, 129 WRC plus. This year he's projected for a 784 OPS and 111 WRC plus. Although I argue those can improve at the Great American Ballpark since he hits really well there. And when I was talking to Geno last year, because I had an interview with him when he was on the Mariners, he was in one of his really bad slides, and then he hit a homer. And I saw him working on some stuff in BP. But like he did mention something when I talked to him about like how the power kind of came later in his career, like not later in the career, but like
Mhm.
not when he didn't realize how much pop he had. And the Cincinnati Reds were the ones that basically uncovered his power in essence
Really.
and to clean and it was a 49 home run season but one off. I mean, close enough with them in
Mhm.
2019. So he talked about how he unlocked his power with the Reds. And another fact I'll say is that like there definitely was discussions from the Reds to get him back at the deadline as well, because he was talking about like going back to all the former teams that he was on, and he was okay with all of them from what I understood. I'm not sure if the Tigers were part of that mix, but he would have been okay with returning to the Reds. And obviously, that's been proven correct because he's back with them now. And I think he's a great clubhouse guy, like I mentioned, and he will command a lot of respect in that room. And he's definitely a guy that Ellie De La Cruz and some of the younger guys on that team can learn from. It's a team that really lacks veterans, and I definitely think it's something that could be good for both sides. Now, does he hit 35 plus? Does he hit 40 again? Like, I don't know, but like, we're gonna have to see how that all looks.
Yeah, and with some of the younger pieces coming up, kind of like Noelvi Marte and kind of like a Sal Stewart, that lineup can definitely be good. It has potential to be great. But when you got a guy like Ellie De La Cruz who's going to be on the base path when Geno gets up, it, and Geno's going to hit the ball hard when he hits the ball, and
Yes,
that's going to generate a lot of runs.
right. You don't have a question of contact quality with Geno, it's just a question of when he connects, basically.
Mhm.
Like he does smack the ball, and I've seen it, and we've all seen it.
Yeah.
He's has I think it's like 325 career home runs. Can he pull a Nelson Cruz and make a late charge of 500? I almost wonder. The Reds might be a good spot for him to do it. If he gets like
Yeah.
back-to-back 40s, he'll be in the 400 range. He'll be like 36.
Mhm.
Like crazier things have happened. You never know. But I don't know. We'll have to see if how much he can maintain that. That
Yeah.
would be really crazy to see him make a push for 500.
Yeah, I wonder where he fits into that, like positional wise too, because I'm guessing they're gonna want to try and play Key Brian Hayes as much as they can,
That's
just to
another
keep.
thing too. I didn't realize. Do they put him at
Yeah,
first more than we think, and do they trade someone like
yeah,
a Spencer
maybe.
Steer or something like that?
Yeah, that kind of just came to me.
It's
You're
either
not gonna.
DH. Do they DH him?
Yeah, because you're not gonna get Key Brian Hayes just to like sit him on the bench. I feel like he's got one of the best gloves in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So Suarez probably isn't even going to play third for them, which just dawns on me
Hmm.
as well. Because, like, I
Yeah.
saw the thing about Hayes, like, on Twitter and, like, people talking about it. Someone made a funny joke. It was like, could Hayes, this was like, oh, this is, like, going to be too long winded, but you'll laugh at it, I think. Someone was like, "Could Hayes play? Could Suarez hit for Hayes and we let the pitcher hit or something?" And like you just let Hayes play third. I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's funny.
I was like, Jesus. But I still like Hayes too, which that was just like a little joke. But like, I thought he
Yeah.
could have made sense for a Yankees target. They're looking for defense like they got McMahon. Hayes would have been a righty, but his
Hmm.
bat's even lower than McMahon's at this point in time. Even though he doesn't strike out, it's just like bad contact quality with him. That's like a
Hmm.
different problem. But his defense is even better than McMahon's probably. He might be the best defensive third baseman in the league
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
probably the best defensive third baseman. But I also do think the park factor is going to play in a lot with Geno Suarez. I mean, he's very familiar with the park, and I think he would have had 53 home runs if he played all of his games at the Great American last
Okay,
year.
there we
So
go. Yeah.
that's going to be a big factor.
If he finished with the D backs, I bet he would have got 50 easy too. He
Hmm.
might have had like
Yeah.
a crooked 50 number even, because like I think it just ruined his momentum when he got traded. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
even though he was used to playing there, like it's not like maybe he doesn't. I don't think he hits well in that park overall. I think that's something people were saying on the Mariners side that like he doesn't have good numbers at the field, which is might be why they want to move on and pivot towards Brendan Donovan.
Hmm.
So another layer to this is the Boston Red Sox. Like they kind of could have had both these guys. Geno was definitely a guy I think they were loosely linked to. Brendan Donovan they were heavily linked to for sure. So I mean, now what's left for them could be Nico Horner maybe. Like, do they actually go full bore and try to go get him? Can they overwhelm the Cubs? It will be kind of funny because Bregman going to the Cubs will be the reason for them getting Horner. So like, that would be like a weird
Yeah.
parallel if that happens. Like, I definitely think the Red Sox are going to try to go get Nico Horner. I don't know if they'll succeed, but I feel like they're definitely going to go for it. And then like Paredes is kind of like an outside option. I think. Like I don't feel as strongly about that. I feel like that whole trade idea was a little bit off to me. Like Duran, Paredes, and like Abreu, it just didn't really quite. The pieces like didn't quite fully fit. Like it sounds like a good idea, but like I don't think the values are what it needs to be.
Yeah. What do you think a Nico Horner trade would look like? What do you think the Red Sox would have to give up, like a Christian Campbell?
The only problem with Campbell is that he signs a contract that the Cubs might not be
Oh
comfortable paying,
yeah.
that he hasn't proven
Oh
himself
yeah.
that well with. Let me try to mess around with the values
That
machine because I was trying to think about this. Let me
maybe
see if I
with
could
like a
do it.
Marcelo Mayer.
Yeah, that would be a tough sell. I don't
Yeah.
know how they envision their infield as well. Like, do you think Mayer's going to second or third? Because Story's going to be a shortstop unless they move him off short. Campbell could
Um.
come back in at second, maybe. Do they?
Mhm.
Because they were saying they didn't felt like third base wasn't much of a need, so maybe they're going to put Mayer at third. I don't know if that's the
Yeah. I mean,
plan right now.
I really do wonder what's going to happen with Campbell because he signed that big contract when he was hitting very well at the beginning of the
That's
season.
what complicates his case because of
Yeah.
that. If it wasn't for that, you could say stash him in the minors maybe, but
Hmm.
it's tough to do that with his contract. And I'm gonna check where his value is. I'm sure that ruins his value, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna look to see how this will look, and I'll show her a screenshot and I'll put it on the screen for everyone.
Yeah. But I really do think the Red Sox definitely aren't done.
No,
This move could mean Jaron Duran could be a Met. You know, that could also happen maybe for a Mark Vientos or a Brett Beatty, but
yeah, I think like if you did that, you'd have to. The Mets would have to up the package with some pitching, probably,
yeah, I
especially if
mean,
Vientos was involved. I mean, Brady has more value right now, I think.
hmm you, like I feel like it's always been Red Sox and Mets for
It
that
could
third
be.
base spot.
I mean, the only issue with Brady is that the Red Sox really need righty hitters. So
Hmm.
I would say like Vientos could actually play well there. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't
He
know if
might
they would
benefit
do
from the
that.
monster too.
I could see him benefiting from the monster. Yes, an interesting idea is. Let me try to see Red Sox Cubs here. All right, so his value's not as high as you would think, but I'll overpay because they're gonna want more probably. Um. All right, let's give them. Let's give them Garrett Whitlock, and then we're gonna give them. Hmm,
Um,
let me
but
see.
yeah,
Oh, I have an idea. How about this? This might actually make some sense. I might be underselling it, but we'll just spitball with this. I
let's
think you'll like this idea, although I don't know how they make it fit on paper, but I think it's an interesting one. And then there's another layer to this too, because Jordan Hicks got traded, and that might
Yep.
open up some space for him as well. And then that also goes into Hayes and like the White Sox offseason, and then the
Yeah.
prospect they got back was decent too. But let's
Hicks
do
al- Hicks also takes away a little bit of money, so maybe they're gonna add that with maybe a Nico Horner, who's still getting some, who's still getting paid. I think $16 million.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Here's my attempt at it. We're gonna go for Garrett Whitlock and Tristan Casas going to the Cubs for Nico Horner.
Yeah, I think I don't think that would get it done,
Probably
but
need to throw a little more. I'm just
yeah,
baselining it.
definitely a little more, just because of how Tristan Casas went down last year and how like, kind of
I
really
think he
bad
needs
that
a change of
was.
scenery, though. I'm sure the Red Sox want to
Yeah,
trade him. That's why I'm doing this. But like, you could add something to this, yeah.
he's a pretty talented hitter. I mean, he could definitely break out in a big way, but going down with I think an ACL last year,
Yeah,
it's
Costas,
ugly.
like, I remember covering him in Double A. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. And, like, he played in the Olympics for USA, too. So I was watching him then before, and, like, they had, like, a different type of players in there. I mean, that's just, like, a loose idea. But it's probably would take more because that value of Horner probably doesn't reflect to the Cubs' value, whom I wouldn't think.
Yep.
I'm going to see. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting thing. Like, the Red Sox have so many different avenues they could go. But they definitely, I do think they have one more move in them as well. It's been said a lot, but they keep missing all their options. So, and they have to keep that on their farm because the only player they signed that was nowhere. Well, they did Ranger Suarez, yes, and then obviously Contreras. So that
Right.
was good. But
Yeah, and Contreras will fill that first base role, but you know, if the Red Sox do end up getting Nico Horner, you gotta guess. I mean, where do you think if this were to be the trade, where would one of Christian Campbell or Marcelo Mayer go?
I think well, Mayer, I think sticks. I don't know. I gotta see how Campbell's value is probably destroyed. I'm really curious to see where it is. I didn't get to him yet because he's not on. Mayer's a 50.9, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
That would be a tough sell. I mean, could they go Connelly early since they kind of put up the rotation? Could he be a piece for the
That,
Cubs, and then you go straight up with him maybe?
yeah, or you could
Peyton
get like
Toley's a little too high probably.
a Cutter Crawford in there probably as
Cutter
well.
Crawford's a 19. Yeah, you could probably work something. What if you take Cutter Crawford and like Tristan Casas instead of Garrett Whitlock? Like something that's probably
Yeah.
closer than what you want, I would imagine.
Cubs add some more pitching depth.
Well, Christian Campbell's at a 6.1, so he's not completely destroyed, but he used to be way, way higher. Like he used to be like in way up
Yeah.
there, like up with Marcelo and like Roman Anthony probably.
He was a big thing coming into last season.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. So I mean, the Red Sox I think will probably try to do something else. I really do. So yeah, Geno. Yeah, like we said, he did his thing. Donovan's a great fit for the Mariners. It could have been a good Boston fit too. I'm really curious to see what happens with Sagente with the Mariners. I mean, with the Cardinals, and see where he goes. All right, let's get to this. Since we already touched the White Sox Hayes, and we might as well just go there. So Hayes was a good pickup for them 1 year for 6 million. We both enjoy that. They
Mm-hmm.
trade for Hicks, which is an interesting deal because they basically kind of prospect dumped that. Like the Red Sox, eight out of 24 million. Now, the White Sox had one of the better off seasons around the league. Surprisingly, they added more depth, controllable players, a new closer, Serenity Dominguez, and in a weak Central, they made themselves much better. Colson Montgomery, Chase Manotoff, and Kyle T are guys that you really want to be excited about,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to have a very competitive look to them this year. I could definitely see them winning in the 75 to 80 range now based off all this. If I was to feel better about them, I definitely want them to add some starting pitching. I mean,
Yeah.
Murakami could be huge if he hits. Jared Kelenich's another guy trying to figure it out. Could they get something out of him? Lamont Wade Jr. is a vet. You don't know if he'll break camp with the team, maybe. They
Mm-hmm.
add Luis Frying Kaufman. David Sandlin is the good prospect they got from the
Mm-hmm.
Red Sox. This guy was highly regarded, so I think that
Yeah.
could be a good deal.
I have a question. Where do you think their floor is, and where do you think their ceiling is for
Their
next
floor
year?
floor is probably like 70 wins. Their ceiling's probably like 85 ish, I think.
Yeah,
If they need starting pitching, though, like that's the thing.
that
That's the only
that is
problem
true.
right
Yeah,
now. Because Hicks, do you think? I guess this is a better question. Do you think they could fix Hicks? Or do you think he's completely broken?
I don't think he's completely broken. I mean, he was a pretty good starter for the Giants for a little bit,
I
but
think he probably has to go in the bullpen, though, right?
yeah, he'll definitely need to go in the bullpen. That's where he's maximized his value. I feel like
Yeah.
he
So
he he progressed really well as a bullpen guy because he just throws really hard, and like when you're able to throw really hard for a pretty long time in the game, it's gonna be pretty hard to hit.
yeah, I agree with that. I feel like if you have him and Suarez needs a main gets cooking, then all of a sudden you have a decent bullpen. Like that has some
Hmm.
potential in the back end.
Yeah.
Maybe Hicks even get back to the point that he's closing games. You never know what
Hmm.
could happen there.
White
Um,
Sox also get Luis Angel Acuna, who
yeah,
could be a pretty good guy. I mean, you don't expect a lot from a guy like Luis Angel Acuna, but he could be. He's a potential breakout candidate.
I do agree with you 100%. Like maybe he needs to change the scenery. Maybe the Mets wasn't
Hmm.
working for him.
Yeah.
So this guy Sandine has 232 minor league innings, 279 Ks, a 4.38 ERA. But you can't just judge by ERA and stuff. So you got to
Hmm.
see how that would look. But do you know where Sandine ranked on the Red Sox prospect list? I'm trying to think where he was before they dealt him.
Um,
I have to take a look into that.
he was ninth.
Okay, so
I have his
all right,
Savant up right now.
sure, go ahead.
He doesn't have that good of numbers. I mean, his expected batting average was the sixth percentile, but it was at 350. What? His expected batting average was 315, which is really good. xWOBA is 376, 454 expected slug. He hits the ball pretty hard, 68th in exit velocity. He barrels it a good amount, 65th. He hits it hard a good amount of time, 59th in hard hit. He is at 22nd percentile in K rate, which is bad, but he doesn't chase a lot. He makes a lot of zone contact, which is going to be very important. And my key thing for the White Sox this year is development. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good
a guy
point.
like Kyle Teal, Colson Montgomery, Chase Mydroff. I mean, they have the potential to be a playoff team, and I'm not joking when I say that.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of how I felt about the Pirates almost if they were to do more like
Hmm.
how like but they didn't do more so I don't know like how that's gonna look but
Hmm.
we're gonna have to see how that all develops. I definitely like the idea of what they're doing. If they could sign, a lot of people want them to sign a guy like Chris Bassett. Could that make maybe that's a move they make?
Yeah, I mean, they could use anything really.
Th-
I mean,
Imagine
and
they pull a
that's
surprise, they get Gallon or Valdez somehow.
that
Then we'd really
w-
be talking.
that would be incredible. I mean, I would love that.
I wonder if Gallon would go for that, like a low pressure situation, try to rebuild the value 1 year, like see
Hmm.
if he can help the White Sox become relevant again. Like maybe that's something he would look to do. I don't know.
Yeah,
Valdez, I doubt that'd be kind of wild to me. That would be very
that would be
surprising.
that would be
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, there is some mid-tier options like Bassett. I don't think Giolito will consider a reunion. I probably think he's
That
more likely to head to Detroit, but he could stay because
yeah.
Jack Flaherty's his boy, and like there is
Hmm.
some linkage there. The Tigers could use another arm as like
Yeah.
insurance for his
I don't
Scooble and
think
some other injuries.
I don't think Verlander would go there either.
Verlander back to the White Sox or Tigers.
White Sox.
Maybe Tigers low key. I don't know if he
Yeah,
wants to
maybe
go back, but
Tigers.
maybe I wouldn't rule it out entirely. They might want to try to pull some heartstrings in the fans with a Scooble situation, so
Hmm.
maybe they might just try to pull a fast one there.
That would be funny.
But I don't, that would be kind of crazy if they did that. What about Max Scherzer going back to the D too? He's still out there. I thought he was
He
going to
is
go to the
still out
Giants,
there.
but they're waiting a while. Imagine the White Sox just threw the bag of Scherzer like randomly. That'd be crazy. I
That
don't
would be
know. I
so
mean, they
funny.
have a lot of options. There's still a lot of starting pitchers that haven't been signed. I think I saw a list of like 20 guys still out there, which is wild to me.
Yeah, I feel like a pretty good amount of names are still out there. I mean, you got a guy like Verlander, Valdez. I mean, Valdez is still out there. I posted about that on X the other day.
Yeah, Nick
Can't
Marti.
believe he's
Yeah, I
still
still
not
think the
signed.
Tigers should go get Valdez. Like, why not? Because
Yeah.
like you're not gonna have to pay anyone after school. Probably like you could use another lefty. You could use some insurance to go with school at the top. Like you have the money. You're not gonna be even hit with the luxury tax. Like their payroll's really not that high. I don't even think if they sign Valdez, you might hit over 200 million. So what? Who cares?
Hmm.
Honestly, like they should just do it. I don't think they will, but they were talking about if they win the case against School Bowl. But like they should just do it anyway. And this gap again for the School Bowl situation, which I'm gonna go deep into length sooner than people expect. Don't worry, like in a few weeks, but and you'll see why. But so like it's a 19 offer that the Tigers submitted, and he is at like 32. It's the biggest difference
Yeah.
in league history. But he also found a way to like ask for more, and like other people were able to. So like it's definitely an interesting situation. They said he was able to do like go based off like a normal starting pitcher requirements or something. Like I don't know how it works,
That's
but
weird.
they it was something odd. But he's worth what
Yeah.
he's asking for. Obviously, that's not a question. I
Yeah.
don't know how
But
that's gonna go. Do they meet in the middle because it's such an unprecedented situation? Does he completely win it? Like, he's not gonna just get 19. I don't think that would be really surprising.
that would be
So,
very surprising. I
uh,
I think they would meet in the middle somewhere. I feel like 32 million is a little bit too much for an arbitration deal. But
probably, yeah,
yeah, but I do think they meet in the middle somewhere.
maybe like a
I would think
25
around
or a
like 25.
26.
Yeah, around there.
I mean, yeah, I still think they should get Valdez. I mean, Giolito's fine, but like Valdez would be better.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing them get Giolito. Still want them to get a bat somewhere too. I don't know if they will. They need some righty pop too. Speaking of teams, but it can't. Geno wouldn't have worked for them because he strikes out too much. They need someone who puts the ball in play.
Yeah,
That's
they
why.
can't have two Riley Greens in that lineup.
That's why McConnell will be going whenever he gets the call because he hasn't really whiffed that much.
Hmm.
So okay, let's go to our Yankees. I know we took longer than people thought probably, but the righty bat situation is interesting with the Yankees. I feel like if the situation of musical chairs, like they're gonna pick one of the guys that we're talking about. All right, Austin Slater and Goldschmidt returns. We're not really into speaking of White Sox, but they could do it. Apparently, they offered Slater a deal already, so I
Yeah.
guess we can't be shocked if he returns. Probably not that much money, I'm assuming.
So let's go two at a time. In or out on Goldie and Austin Slater.
Out and out.
I don't know. And then Ty France, Randall Grichuk.
Could be
What do you
in and
think?
in. Could be in and
Yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
like apparently France has expected OPS like it's 100 points higher, so might be in there. He also,
No,
like you said before, has the first third thing.
yeah, I like France because he could flip flop around first and third. You know, he's a right-handed bat. Platoons well with Ryan McMahon and Ben Rice. That would be very good to put in the lineup.
Yeah, and he puts the ball in play a decent chunk. He's not a big strikeout guy.
I'm pretty sure he's pretty good defensively as well.
He's had some seasons that he hit over 300. All those days are well behind him, obviously. He was pretty good with the Mariners for a little while, though. I do remember. So I wouldn't hate that one. It might make some sense. He was with the Blue Jays too, obviously.
Hmm.
So he was technically on the World Series team. I don't know if he was on the roster. I don't think he was, right?
No.
But he was in the team. So yeah, he was a twin for a bit too.
Yeah.
Not too long really. Reds, Mariners, Padres. Like yeah, he had 3 seasons of like a 300
Hmm.
average, like two actually, because one of them splitting with 2020. But
Yeah, I'm definitely
yeah,
in on Ty France. You know, I don't really know that much about Randall Grichuk just because he's been stuffed away in Colorado for basically his entire career. But
yeah, Grichuk to me is a guy. He kills the Yankees all the time, which is why it
yeah,
interested me. Just not just to get him away from a team that could hurt the Yankees. A and then B, like I think he does. He hits well at Yankee Stadium. I think because he always hits bombs against them. So
yeah,
maybe he profiles well. I gotta check his Yankee Stadium numbers. I know he had a down year though. So the D-backs for a little bit too. He's kind of bounced around. Was not too good
here's a
last
fun
year.
one. Here's a fun option. Miguel and Duhar. Maybe a
Yes, Miguel
reunion.
and Duhar 2.0, I would not be against.
I mean, he kind of broke out once you got onto the Athletics. that last year, I'm pretty sure with the Athletics, he did very good. And this year, with the time that he played, he did extremely well. He had a 318 average with a 822 OPS. I mean, that'll play on any team. But
And yeah,
the problem with Miguel is his defense. He lacks a lot defensively. I mean, it's pretty much a liability. But
unfortunately, yes, that's
yeah,
the moral of the story with him. Still, I mean, he's probably better in the outfield than he was at third. I would assume,
yeah,
but I don't know how much better. He is great stand insurance, so if you think about it, he is literally the exact type of guy you'd want to step in and fill the DH role. So it should be. I don't know if he will return to the Yankees, if he feels slighted about losing the job to Gio and how all that went down. I don't know. So I'm not fully sure if he would consider it. Maybe he would if the number was right. He's not going to give
yeah.
them a discount, obviously.
But
Grichuk has an 825 OPS at Yankee Stadium, and he has 18 bombs in 237 at bats.
that's insane. How many games?
63.
22 bombs in
I think
63
it was
games.
18, but yeah.
22 in 63. Oh, 18.
Yeah.
18, 63. So at Yankee Stadium, he has a 162 game pace of 46 home runs.
Yeah, which is why I don't know if his bat's quite the same, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I would still see if he could, since he hits that well at the stadium.
And then how about like a Tommy Pham kind of?
So, Pham
The
is
problem.
controversial for a few different reasons.
Yeah. He
Do
hates
you,
the Yankees.
well, it's not even that. I think he would get over that, honestly, because we've seen that before with Marcus Stroman and whatever else. Like, you don't want a Josh Donaldson situation, but do they need someone to come in there and kick them in the ass? Because like he would shake up the clubhouse. So like
He
Tommy
would shake
Pham's
up.
gonna be loud, he's gonna be vocal,
Yeah.
and you're gonna know he's there. So like,
Yeah. He'd kind of be like a Marcus Stroman 2.0.
in
Kind
a
of. He would
sense,
shake
yeah,
up the clubhouse a little bit. But like,
less risk.
yeah. You're not gonna pay Tommy Pham $18 million a year.
No, he'll probably
Um,
get five at most at this point in the
yeah.
game. Like, I'll show a random one at you. Then I don't think you would do it, but I have two actually. Reese Hoskins, I think we both say yes. We like Reese Hoskins. A
Yeah.
low key one that's not being talked about that much. Maybe his money is too high for what they want to spend, but I think he's one of the better righty bats available to fill this type of role we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Reese Hoskins has definitely gone under the radar this offseason. I feel like he's still a pretty good bat. I mean, he shined kind of with the he shined with the Phillies. He didn't have a bad year with the Brewers last year. I think he didn't have a bad year. He had a 748 OPS. I mean, 12 home runs and 279 at bats. It's not bad, but like it's not something that you like drool over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's definitely something that's interesting there. Like, I would maybe take Fam, just like it's a gamble, obviously. Like, you gotta be ready to handle that if you take
Hmm.
him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, and he was listed on the thing in Cody's article, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if they were actually
Really?
thinking about it. Yeah, I think
I
it
didn't know.
dropped the day we were there at the event,
Uh,
actually. So maybe that's why you missed it. But I think it was Cuddy. He mentioned Slater. He mentioned Gretchik. He mentioned Fam, and then one of those other names in there. I don't know. I don't think it was Ty France, but like one of them, maybe Golsey or someone. So one of the names we wrote was definitely in there. Not Miguel and Duhardo. I know that much.
mhm.
Did he do? Maybe he did Ty France. I don't know, but
But
nothing too crazy, like you said. Nothing that's gonna overly excite you. My my wild card is Andrew McCutcheon.
that's funny. McCutcheon, I hope he goes back to Pittsburgh and retires. But
Yeah, no, that's what they
he,
should do. He's not
yeah,
happy about what's going on right now, apparently. So
yeah,
that's why I'm wondering if he will end up somewhere else. But like, he does want to go back there and retire. It's like he's been very clear about it. So we're gonna
hmm
have to see if they let him do that. You would hope.
but a reunion with the Yankees would be pretty fun too. I mean, I love McCutcheon. One of the greats in the game. You gotta
Yeah,
respect the greats, but
yeah. It might
he
not be
won't bring a
exactly
lot
what
of
the
value.
yeah.
But you know,
He'll bring clubhouse value and leadership, though. It
yeah,
just won't really show on the fields anymore because he's like 39, unfortunately.
yeah.
So let's do
His
Luis Arraez. Says
This is a fun one. I kind of have a hot take for this.
All right. So he gets a 1 year deal, $12 million from the Giants. I kind of thought he'd get somewhere from like that 12 to 15 range. Like I didn't expect like a big deal for him. Is this less than I thought? Maybe because I've seen like a 2 or 3 year commitment, perhaps. But apparently he turned down a multi-year offer.
Yeah, he
So I don't
he
know
wants to
who
play
that
in the
was from.
field. Yeah, I don't think that was reported yet. But he wanted to be at second base next year.
And the
Unfortunately, he might have created one of the funniest right side of the infields of all time with Rafael Devers and Luis Arraez. That's gonna be kind of fun to watch. two 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 pretty bad defenders just covering the whole right side of the field. But you know,
yeah,
he's definitely gonna help them offensively with he's gonna probably be at the top of the order behind guys like Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, and of course Rafael Devers. I think he could produce a lot of runs for that team, and I think with that how big that field is, I think he could win another batting title. That's my hot take. I think he wins the batting title next year.
okay, so he's been a hot topic amongst the fans because like he's basically an old school versus new school thing. Like that's why Arise is so interesting to me.
Hmm.
I do agree that I wouldn't be stunned if he wins a batting title because that lineup in outfield play is perfect. He'll kind of go into the radar with all those other big bats like a Thomas Chapman, Devers,
Hmm.
and we kind of mentioned how they could use some help at second base, like how that spot looked questionable to us. The defense will be brutal, obviously, but Joe Hunt Lee is still out there too with them.
And then they'll have Casey Schmidt to roam around the infield as
Yeah,
well.
and then I think Patrick Bailey's catching for them. He's a really good defender.
Yeah.
So yeah, Schmidt now goes into the rover role instead of having to play second as they previously had it listed. So that's interesting. And they have Bader too. So yeah, I mean the Giants have an interesting offseason. Like how do you feel about them overall? Like do you think they're the second or third best team in the division? Are they fourth still? Like I obviously the Dodgers are first, so that's not even a question. But
Yeah.
um
I think the Padres and the Giants will compete very well for the second place spot in the West this year.
do you think the D backs just don't have it together still with their pitching basically?
I don't know. I've said kind of the same thing the past 3 years with the Diamondbacks ever since they went to the World Series. They're probably not going to be in contention if they don't get their pitching together. They're probably they're going to have a probably one of the best offenses in baseball next year, but I don't think they could be competitive at all with how bad their pitching has been.
Yeah, like Merrill Kelly's not enough. Like if Zach
Yeah.
Gallen somehow goes back, that's still probably not enough because we don't know what he's gonna be. Like
Yeah,
they
and
had,
it's really unfortunate because they have a lot of talent on that team. I mean, they have Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo, they have Corbin Carroll, obviously. They have a bunch of talent.
yeah. Well, how did we completely disappear? Okay,
Um,
so this is Arise's chart, which I found. This is such an extreme chart. Like you don't see
yeah,
stuff like this too often. Like the whip is great, the chase is awful, the squared up when he gets it is good. The bat speed's terrible. The sweet spot's good. He doesn't hit it hard at all. Has no exit velo. His expected batting average is somehow amazing though. Like it's just like this is such a confusing thing to figure out. Like,
like he just squares up the ball so much that his expected batting average is through the roof.
but he doesn't barrel it though, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's such a confusing case.
Because he like doesn't swing at all,
And then
but
there's a
like
10% walk, but then he doesn't walk.
yeah,
Like I don't know.
because he doesn't really swing that much, but like when he does swing, he makes a lot of contact.
Yeah,
You see, he's 5.3% whiff rate is like crazy.
yeah, I agree. That's definitely an interesting thing. I can see the Giants competing for second if all goes well. Maybe they get back into that playoff
Hmm.
mix. They have been in discussions for Valdez apparently that they were really trying to get him. That's been reported. Do they take a flyer on Gallen? Maybe they're still searching for a starting pitcher. Obviously,
Hmm.
it would be interesting if Valdez goes there. At this point, I don't know what's gonna happen with Valdez. Like I thought it would
Yeah.
be Mets or Orioles, but they're both taking so long, and the Mets got Peralta, so maybe they don't do that anymore.
Hmm.
Orioles could still do it, I guess, because I
No,
know.
I could see the Mets offering like a Boba Fett cut kind of contract with a lot of opt-outs, low years, high
And he might
money.
take it at this point in the game, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we're so late into the off season where I mean, Steve Cohen doesn't really care how much money he's giving to these players,
No,
but I mean, if they could get him on that short year high AAV deal, I think that would boost them a lot in the NL.
I agree with you 100%. I really do. So I would say like it's definitely an interesting situation.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, so we have some great news here. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I should, you know what? Let me drop the reveal thing. I got to Actually, I did email it to myself. I think it's downloaded. I just gotta find it. But you'll see why I'm happy in a second. Okay. Let me see if I can get it. It's in here somewhere. I definitely did it today. All right. We're gonna take the stage for this. So, breaking news tomorrow. I will be going live with Keith McPherson in the studio around 8:30 or so. We're gonna talk Yankees. Obviously, he works with the fan, not as much as he once did, but still doing it when he can and working on a lot of content. He has his own stream tonight, like right after ours, basically. So that's the big announcement I have is that Keith McPherson and me will be going live tomorrow together in the studio, not the fan studio. Don't aggregate that as own twist. That we're not. I'm not going into WFAN. Okay, everyone. I'm not. But I'm doing the second best thing, kind of. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I thank him for this, and like he's a great dude. He's helped me a lot, so I think we'll have a good discussion tomorrow. Obviously, me and him feel a little different about the off season where the team is at, so we'll get into more of that back and forth a little bit in a friendly way, and then we'll find our common ground because we always do, obviously. But so that's what I have going on tomorrow night, and then I also have a surprise guest lines up for Thursday afternoon potentially. So I'm not gonna say who yet. So we'll see. He said
And
he
then
wanted
we
to do
we
it. So
we also have someone for next week on Tuesday.
yes, we have someone
There's
for
a
next week as well. I didn't even know it was Tuesday,
yeah.
but apparently it is. So um, so that's a good thing as well. And there's gonna be a lot more. So it's just the beginning of what's going on here. So we're gonna try to build this thing up all the way through the roof, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to see what takes place tomorrow. It should be
Yeah.
a good conversation, like 8:30 to 9:30 around. So that's what we got.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Definitely
Oh yeah, no, we
excited.
will. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll go on. We're gonna go up. We're gonna end it soon. So yeah, that's one thing we have to look forward to.
Yeah,
So we'll put that
definitely
in the
have a lot
back
to look
burner.
forward to. We got WBC coming up. We're definitely gonna try and get something for the WBC. We might watch party it live, but we'll see what the future brings. I think
Yeah,
I will be watch partying it on live at
okay.
least.
Yeah, no, like here's the thing with that. I actually like that segue because I do want to close to the WBC. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna be in Puerto Rico for some of that. So I have to see what I can do. I'm willing to do content there. Obviously, I'm gonna do content for this channel while I'm there as well, with Latino sports and everything else. But like, when we get to the Miami stages, I might be able to be more flexible with that because I don't have credentials for Miami, but I might go anyway and just do like some fanny stuff while reporting like for fans, kind of interviewing like pregame, postgame, and whatever. Like I might try to sneak a ticket to one or two of the games depending if it's possible. Like I gotta see. So like I'll keep you posted on that. I do like the idea to do something for the WBC for sure. I like to get the
yeah,
channel growth and everything. We'll definitely try to push towards that. So speaking of the WBC, I kind of want to do a fun exercise with Jared here. Let's go over Yankees and the WBC right now because there's been a lot of them, and then like the insurance situation in Puerto Rico is an absolute mess. I hope Lindor is
yeah.
able to play. I'll just say that quickly. I'm
Hmm.
not happy with the Cuban situation. That's an absolute disaster to bring like a double A team to WBC. Puerto Rico has some good news with Edwin Diaz playing, which is controversial, but he's going to go again. Hopefully, he's
Yeah,
healthy and everything's good with him this time. Fernando Cruz looks like he's going to go, so that's in the one Yankee that'll be in there. And I know Elliot Ramos, speaking of the Giants, also will be playing for Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico's getting some of the guys back that were getting denied initially. So I think they'll have a decent enough team to hopefully get out of the group at least.
yeah. But I think it'll be fun. Austin Wells is playing, Camilo's playing,
Yep, that's two,
Fernando's
three,
playing,
what,
Judge
four.
obviously, um,
Caballero
ERC.
might Caballero might go. It's five for
Oh,
Panama.
where's Cabby gonna play?
Panama
Uh,
potentially.
and
ERC
then
is
we got
six. We have David
um
Bednar seven.
Bednar. Yep.
Harrison Cohen eight. Israel.
Oh,
That's a fun one.
and Brad Osmus is coaching Israel.
Yes, he is. And then we have Brendan Beck is playing for Great Britain. Nine. Jazz Chisholm, Great Britain.
Jazz.
10. Do we have anyone else? Do they have? I'm trying to think. I gave a solid 10. Is there anyone? Let's go across the diamond
I'm
quick.
thinking of their bullpen right now because I think we're done with position players.
Probably
Oh,
because
is Rosario playing?
yes, there's another
Yeah,
Rosario 11. He's going to DR. If you count, since
yeah.
you're counting Osmus on the staff, so I think it's 10 players and one coach maybe. Dominguez not playing. Spencer Jones no. Grisham no. Bellinger declined it. Stanton no. Obviously, the Yankees will never let that happen for a million different reasons. And he actually had like one of the biggest moments for USA in the WBC too. He
Yeah,
actually helped them win the championship in 2017, the only one they have won.
2017. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think if there's anyone else in that bullpen or starting rotation. I know I have a fun fact. I just found this out. I'm kind of pissed about it. Apparently, JC Escaro was going to do it, but like people convinced him
Really?
not to. So I'm not happy
What?
about that. But I'd love to see him do it. Well, the
I love
situation in
JC.
Cuba is like really, like yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
great,
haven't really
but
heard anything about it.
not good. Um, I also learned that Carlos Rodon would have considered it before the injury, maybe.
Really?
I don't know if he would have under these circumstances that they've kind of created with this shitstorm, for lack of a better term. But I heard he was interested.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to get into like the WBC stuff or
I'm trying to think, like, who else from the Yankees? Do we get them all? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I think
Slater?
we
No.
no. Goldie's not on anymore. Bullpen maybe. I'm trying to think of bullpen pieces. I think we
Yeah.
got mostly everyone though. Bird's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna play. Like, nah. I think we probably go. It's like 10 players at
Like
least.
Yeri? No.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, we could work with that. So Mets have Lindor's questionable. They have a lot of guys. Jonah Tong decided not to go,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
which
he
I
was gonna
get.
play for Canada.
Yeah, he would have did Canada. Vientos is playing for Nicaragua, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Luis Angel Acuna, I don't think he's with Venezuela, but Roddy's with them, and he's with the White
He's
Sox
also
now
with the White
anyway.
Sox now.
Yeah, I was just trying to go through like that thing. Brett Beatty, no. Luis Robert for Cuba, maybe. I don't. I would hope so, but
Yeah.
I don't.
What
He
about
did it.
pitchers?
He
None
did it.
of Mets
Nolan
pitchers.
McLean, USA.
McLean, yeah.
Freddie Peralta, Dominican Republic. Clay Holmes, USA.
Clay Holmes is playing.
Yes, Holmes is in it for USA. Yep. Manaya, I don't think so. He's been too banged up. I
Yeah,
doubt
he's too
Senga's
banged
going
up.
to pitch for Japan because he's been way too
Definitely
banged
not.
up.
Wayne, not playing for Japan.
Is Williams or Weaver doing it? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I haven't seen really anything about them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like some outfielders or something. Bo Bichette was going to do Brazil. I don't think he is anymore. I think something happened with that. Francisco Alvarez considered Venezuela, maybe. I don't know what they're catching. Oh, they have Salvi, so maybe not. But he could be a backup, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He might try it. Polanco, I don't think is on DR because their roster's
Oh,
probably too loaded. I would imagine.
yeah.
Simeon's not playing. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a crazy tournament with Scooble and Skeens are going to be at the top for USA, and then
Yeah,
Judge and
that's
Raleigh.
gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for baseball to start.
I'll end you with this, and then we'll get going. I think it's a nice little debate. Um, who do you think gets the ball in game one? Is it Schoolboy or Skeens?
I think it's Skeens.
I think it probably is too, just because the military aspect of like how much it means to him and how much he really
Yeah.
wants to play, like
He's
going
also
to the Air
just
Force and everything.
he's also just the way better pitcher.
I don't know about way better. Schoolboy's pretty good. I don't know
I
about
don't
way. I
know.
don't know about
I don't
way
know. Paul
better.
Skeens, I feel like he's on his own planet. I
Well,
mean, he
I
hit a
mean,
1.99 ERA last year. That's
yeah, it's
crazy.
yeah. No, you might be right, but like I don't know because Schoolboy gets more Ks though.
I wouldn't say way better, but
Yeah,
I
way
think
better
he's
might be a
definitely
stretch, but better, like, okay. Like, I don't know, way better.
yeah.
I mean, he is younger, so like the arrow's higher for
Hmm.
him to be way better. I guess if you
Yeah,
want to look at it that way. I mean,
yeah.
Schoolball's
If you're
like
asking me, I definitely think he's the consensus best pitcher in baseball.
probably just based off the age and what he's accomplished so far in the two
Yeah,
seasons. It's tough to argue
yeah.
with that because Schoolball wasn't anywhere near that in 2 years. It took him a while to
Hmm.
figure it out. I mean, the scary thing that his games is only going to get better, so he probably is the best if you just go based off that. Not that Schoolball's not going to get better, but like he's probably topped out on most of how good he's been, and that's not a
Hmm.
bad thing because he's
That's not a
ridiculously
bad
good.
thing at all
If he
because
continues to
he's
put up those seasons, like everyone will be really happy with that.
yeah.
But like it's interesting to see because we haven't got to see Skeens pitch in those big games yet. That's what I
Hmm.
want to see how this
Yeah,
looks because the Pirates haven't given him the opportunities to pitch in the big games. Schoolball's been pretty good, minus one bad start in Cleveland in
yeah. Last
in
year.
last year in the playoffs. But all right, we could hit that end note. Let's find it. But thanks everyone for checking in. This was a fun one. I'll give you my handles quick. It's Julian Gallardi on YouTube. X is Julian Gallardi 1. Instagram's Julian Gallardi 11. And TikTok, you search my name. Facebook too, which I'm starting to use a little bit more again just for business purposes. So Jared, what do you got, bro?
Yeah, my handles are on basically everything Jared underscore Golds 23, except for Instagram. It's J. Goldstein 23.
All right, brother. Let's keep building this. Big week ahead. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. I don't know if we'll have any more shows or just us because of like all the stuff going on. Because I also have a
Hmm.
WBC pod I have to do Friday as well. It's like separate from this, so it's three podcasts I think.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's gonna be a busy slate for sure. But alrighty, let's do it.